Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Edward Joseph, and let's talk live. Young Doug trial. All right, let's talk. Well, today, peoples, has been such an interesting day. I am here, I am live, and I am going to talk about some things, peoples. People's Young Doug's trial. You guys come on in. You guys come on in. You guys come on in, for there's so much to talk about, peoples. You guys come on in. Peoples, today I decided that I was going to cover the Young Nucks trial. I've been watching this trial for quite some time now, and now I am going to cover this. And only to the degree to where we're just going to watch the trial that is at hand right now and the motions that is going to be made on today. And so, peoples, let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And there we are. We are on the Young Ducks trial. We are on the Atlanta News reporting thing right there. And so we have firsthand on the Young Ducks trial and stuff. So, whatever they're showing, that's what we're showing right now and stuff. And so I can't really give you so much background and history on the Young Ducks trial because, like I say, I'm not one that has been all into the gangs and things of that nature, but this has been very interesting. And so today I decided that I wanted to come on and I wanted to cover this one today because this is the motions today to whether or not the people is going to be making plea deals or whether the trial is going to go forth as usual. And so I've been literally sitting back watching other people's lives and things and stuff. So I said, well, hey, I might as well just go ahead and get my copy and put it on my channel and things and stuff. I don't know if all of the other people has been watching and whatnot, but it's very interesting, peoples. And so, this is just a prelude as to what's to come. It's a prelude as to what's to come with a lot of the other cases that I am going to be talking about. But here they are, peoples. Let's watch.
Mr. Harvey, Miss Westmoreland, and Mr. Garland, who's going to be taking the lead going through the plea? Okay. All right, Mr. Harvey, do either you or you, Miss Hilton, need this plea of guilty and waiver of rights form back?
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Nichols and Mr. Harvey, whenever y'all are ready, you can come on up to the podium.
Mr. Harvey said he's signing the indictment.
Okay, whenever y'all are ready.
Your Honor, I'd like my client to be present for this. He's a member of the public, and I would like him to observe this, and he has a right to be here.
Okay,
Thank you.
can we get
Are you granting
Mr.
that?
Kendrick
Thank you.
out, please? Stand by.
Oh, wait, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Can we have the, yeah, can I approach?
And so, peoples, as you can see, this is the Young Ducks trial. And so the people may be taking some plea deals and things. We just have to wait and see whether or not the judge is going to go ahead and submit the motion to continue the trial. And, they're still going to go to trial. Or are these people going to take a plea deal and plead up against Young Doug? Now, it hasn't been it hasn't been to the degree people's to whereas they have literally deemed.
We are going to recess for just a minute, and I am sorry about that, but I'm going to have to ask everybody to step out for just a minute, and then we'll let y'all back in, okay?
Okay, so they're going to recess for a little bit, peoples. They're going to recess for a little bit and then they're going to come back. So, what I'm going to do now, peoples, is I'm going to go and I'm going to look for um, some kind of like footage that they had played back in the trial to kind of bring us up to speed a little bit to let us see the Young Thugs trial and what has happened previously before we got to this point. And so then, I'll be back as well too. But I'm working behind the scenes as well and whatnot. So I decided that I just wanted to do something a little different on today. So let's go back to the news, the Atlanta news reporting thing. And let me see. Let me go back to that. So we're going to try to get a little bit of commentary, people's. We're just going to go to the main thing. And we're going to watch a little bit of commentary of what the people are saying now and things until we get back to court in action. So let's see what was going on within the last couple of days. So it's been very interesting, people. So when we're going to come back when they come back. So what we're going to do is we're going to just share this tab right here, and we're going to take a look at this. And so let me go ahead and bookmark this because this is the Atlanta news. And so let's try to get some commentary as to what is what, peoples. So let's go here because they're live now, and so they're giving commentary as to what is happening.
Smartphone stuck tricky issues. TenorShare provides
These darn commercials, boy, I'll tell you. Okay, let's listen in.
Of each and every co-defendant. We're talking about months of witness testimony, expert witnesses, physical testimony being introduced, and all the arguments that those would cause. So we can't even estimate the additional resources that would be necessary to try this case fully and completely with all the co-defendants as situated. Any removal of a co-defendant through a plea or other disposition benefits the state by reducing the complexity of this case, arguably would make it be more difficult to defend because the defendants generally benefit from the more complexity they can add to any set of charges. No one's even thinking right now about this poor jury who has also been out since last week. They had court ended abruptly. They were told not to return, and only now we are hearing about potentials for court restarting. We're obviously watching the hearing right now. They just began at 1 o'clock, waiting to hear exactly what the announcements are going to be. However, my latest is that I expect the trial to resume against at least some of the co-defendants here, presumably tomorrow.
And I just want to share, just into our newsroom, we've learned that there's two Quays, right, in this case that we've been talking about, but Quay Marvius Nichols is taking a plea deal. That's, again, just into our newsroom just moments ago, taking a plea deal and has been charged with the 2022 murder of Shymel Drinks. But again, Quay Marvius Nichols, aka Quay, but there's two, people who are two defendants who are aka
Two Quays.
But Quay Marvius Nichols, we understand, just moments ago, has agreed to a plea deal. Obviously still working to get the details there, but this is what we're talking about. This is something that is going to impact the other defendants. It is going to impact the trying of this case, and really reduce the size of the case, which some might argue is a bad thing, some might argue is a good thing.
And the most important part is it shows movement, and movement triggers more movement, because as the other co-defendants reassess the strength and weaknesses of their case, just like the state is going to do with the change in tone from Mr. Nichols. Looks like he's entering a plea, from what we're seeing, to about 7 years of service and a good chunk of probation, with the murder getting dismissed. A lot of clients would consider that a big win. but we have those other issues involved. Is he going to be forced to agree to certain facts like we have seen with Monktonk and some of the other individuals who have been convicted in this overarching prosecution? Now, to remind everybody, Monktonk, when he appeared and testified, did not testify according to the terms of the deal that he had struck with the state, despite the efforts of his wonderful lawyer. That caused a probation revocation, and Monktonk was trundled off to a 5-year revocation about a week ago. That is after receiving what is mostly considered a straight probation sentence. I think it was about 30 years. That's kind of the sausage that we're talking about when we get to pleas. It's not just the time, it's the other associated stuff that goes along with it, such as promising to tell the truth, acknowledging that YSL is a gang, which is a giant issue for the DA's office. They want to establish more than anything that the DA's office was correct in asserting that YSL is a criminal street gang, that the people involved are gangsters and they deserve prosecution. In polar opposite from the defense position that YSL is a recording group, that it is a business, and that all of the rap lyrics and the other issues are just made up in licensure of art. Clearly a tough cultural issue for our community to face.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, if now we know that one of these defendants has reached a plea deal, but we haven't heard about a mistrial ruling, can we glean anything from this new development regarding the plea deal?
I would think that if a mistrial was highly likely or being discussed, because remember, that's the judge's call. Both the state and the defense can weigh in and say, Judge, we want a mistrial in this form for this reason, and they can collaborate on that if they want it. The state and the defense could get together and say, Judge, we mutually recognize these problems and want a mistrial. That's not really likely. The defense doesn't want a mistrial unless it comes with prejudice, thereby prohibiting Fani Willis from prosecuting these co-defendants, whereas the state wants to preserve their ability to seek justice and convictions against these co-defendants.
Did you say the defense would not want a mistrial unless it was one with prejudice?
Yeah,
Okay.
in all likelihood, the defense would be objecting to a mistrial because the defense rationally and reasonably believes they have the upper hand when it comes to the legitimacy of this trial. They understand that should there be a verdict of conviction, there are more appellate issues to tie up the Court of Appeals forever. And that means that their client still preserves a pathway to non-conviction. You can also have bonds, like supersedeas bonds, while a conviction is being, reviewed by the Court of Appeals. And an appeal really pulls back the sheet and shines some light on the actions of the state and the defense, which could cause substantial embarrassment. As some people have mentioned, one of the individuals that the state has called, there's a prior opinion with that individual called out by name for violating basically what you're supposed to be doing as a DA, and is castigated by our appellate courts. That's the kind of stuff that the DA's office is going to try to avoid. They don't want egg on their face. Fani Willis has to show up and show all of these voters that she made good judgments and that these resources were allocated properly. That's a big question in a lot of voters' minds.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a reminder for our viewers who do want to watch what's happening in court, you can do so live on our Courts and Trial channel and also on YouTube. And we are, again, bringing you gavel to gavel coverage of this historic trial. Again, this is the longest running criminal trial in the history of Georgia. And it keeps getting longer, quite frankly, especially with no mistrial declared at this point.
It's rule breakingly historic. There's so many academic issues you can think about. Is it possible to have a fair jury that lasts 2 years with this many interruptions? Is it fair to ask jurors to serve like this? Is it fair to have someone be in a pretrial custody for something of this length? Was the bringing of these charges rational and reasonable and good judgment from the state? Or, as the defense suggests, bringing these charges in the case in the way that the state did is abusive in its very creation. These are fundamental justice issues that our nation has fought with since our founding. There are no perfect answers. The best thing about our system is there isn't a better one out there. Even with all of the traumas, the tragedies, the successes, and the sins that we see in criminal justice. It is the best system out there, and it's aspirational in its improvement. We fix the mistakes through the Court of Appeals, and then we keep making our trial process better. This trial is going to be a lesson for the entire nation for years to come.
Absolutely. Attorney Josh Schiffer joining us here live with analysis. And again, for our viewers, if you haven't done so yet, I really encourage you to download our free Atlanta News First app to get updates sent right to your phone. Also, you can check out the latest on atlantanewsfirst.com. But also, if you want to look live, let me show you our live stream into the courtroom where we have the seal up right now. And that means that we can't show you what's happening live. Otherwise, we would, and we would let you listen in. Sometimes there are moments during court where the judge is addressing attorneys outside the presence of the jury, going off the record, and so obviously we're not allowed to stream the contents of those conversations. But if you want to watch everything that is happening inside the courtroom, gavel to gavel, go over to our Courts and Trials channel or on YouTube as well. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. And again, please download our free app to get the latest right on your phone. And for now, back to Laura.
All right, peoples, we're going to transition back. There's nothing happening right now because they were just in there and they were just kind of like doing some things and whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're going to transition over to some highlights and stuff until this thing gets back on track here. Yeah, it's really something, peoples. It's really something. This YSL trial is really something, peoples. So we'll see how it goes. Let me see here. Just trying to look at something here. Okay, so let's see here. Let me see here. What can we go ahead and watch till it gets back on track here? So we're going to view this tab right here, peoples. Hello, Gina, to you. How are you, ma'am? It is a blessing to see you on today. Gina to you says, greetings, Edward and chat. And oh boy, I love the new avatar. That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, you guys are getting so creative with these avatars and stuff. You and Trish, y'all have really outdid yourselves with the avatar. Trish had a real life avatar that really shows who she is, and then Gina to you has the avatar that shows who she is, but it's kind of like in a picturesque type of setting and stuff. And so, I have two beautiful moderators that helped me with the channel and things and stuff. And so, yeah, it's a really wonderful thing, peoples. But so what we're going to do right now, peoples, while the court is still in session and they're still kind of like doing their thing and just taking all of these different motions and stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play back some highlights and things until the courts gets back into session. And so today I just decided that I wanted to go and pretty much live stream the Young Thug trial and things, because I've been watching this thing since they had it on, but I can't really tell you so much about everything that's going on and all of the different players because I didn't watch it every single day like that. I didn't follow it like that. I mean, I'll come back periodically and stuff and watch other people who has literally been covering it and stuff. So, but other than that, yeah, I'm just here and I'm just doing like a little due diligence. I have to wait to put my computer in a shop, so It's a little technical difficulty right there, but it'll be in. But for right now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to kind of cover the YSL trial because they're just making motions for the plea deals and things like that and stuff. So we're watching the Atlanta news report. So let's look at some highlights and stuff, people. It's on a YSL trial. Now, I used to root for Fonnie Willis. I used to, but now I kind of don't like her now because I see that she's nothing but a big liar. And it's unfortunate, she is trying to convict these people and she's trying to say that these people are a gang. But so far, since I have been watching the trial and things, I haven't seen anything, or they haven't really produced anything that proved to me beyond a reasonable doubt that YSL is a gang. And they haven't proved to me beyond a reasonable doubt that Young Doug is the leader of any gang. So, hey, no, I mean, that's just where I stand. I don't know where you stand. I don't know if you have been watching this for quite some time and stuff, peoples, but like I said, okay, they're back. I saw some movement in the thing, so we'll see. Yeah, but so far, like I said, peoples, I haven't seen anything to prove that Young Doug is guilty of anything other than just being an entrepreneur that's about his music and stuff. Now, I've heard the other day that this character had got arrested for pretty much he had paid to have somebody murdered. I forget the guy's name because like I say, I don't really get into this gang stuff and I don't really watch all of that stuff, but it was very interesting. But see, he flaunted himself too. He flaunted himself too. Now he's got his tail arrested and he's going to be eating some bologna sandwiches and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And, he's going to be on noodles for quite some time, probably for the rest of his life. And so that's what happens, people. When you guys go and thinking you big, bad, and bold, y'all want to get involved with all of these gang members, gang ties, and things of that nature. And then you go and you pay to have people unalive. And then now you end up getting caught. And now you end up having to pay for the rest of your life for you having to have someone else unalive. Who gives you the right to go and take someone's life? That's the thing that I'm saying. Who gives you that right? Nobody gives you that right. And so you sitting around here and stuff and you wanting to go ahead and have someone else's murdered all because you're saying, oh, well, I've been disrespected and things like that. Really, peoples? I mean, come on, who are you? You're a nobody. You're nothing but a loud talking person that gets up on and runs around the country and stuff and talks all of this nonsense and everything. And yet you want to sit up here and you want to go ahead and pay people to take somebody else's life just because you say that they disrespected you. Well, let me disrespect you and then send somebody my way and then see what happens. Y'all can come for me all you want to. I don't really care. But I'm glad that he's got arrested and I'm glad that his tail is put in jail. All of them needs to go down. Every last one of them. All of these rappers, these thuggish, ruggish boys who think that they're all like that in a cup of tea, wearing all of their pants hanging down and sagging on it, off their tails and things and stuff, and talking all of this bebop nonsense and things. These people, they deserve to have them tails in jail. Not because they wear their pants and they talk ruggish and thuggish, but when you want to go and you want to unalive somebody just because you feel disrespected, well then yes, you need to go down. And so when the Jay-Z's and the Beyoncé's and the Diddy's, and all of these people, when they go down, you're going down. All right, people. So let's look at a couple of highlights and stuff until the courts come back into session.
HitPaw Video Enhancer is an AI
looms over the YSL RICO case. There are some people that are planning to protest in front of the Fulton County Courthouse today. They say they are fed up with how this trial has gone.
Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond is live right now. She's in front of the Fulton County Courthouse. Sarah, what are they protesting?
So the folks who are going to be out here today in a little under an hour say they have concerns over a few things: the trial's length, what they call attacks on artistic expression, and some potential ethical concerns. Now, the peaceful protest comes as a motion for a mistrial looms and potential plea deals. Judge Paige Whitaker canceled court yesterday, and we know at least one co-defendant met with District Attorney Fani Willis to discuss a plea deal. Attorney Joshua Schiffer, who is unaffiliated with this case, said others have had similar meetings. The sudden change in course came after a witness from the prosecution read a social media post aloud in court that
Okay, peoples, where court is back in session. Let's go back and let's watch. I tell you, that's a
Have him on the
fine
podium.
attorney
He's
there,
gonna
boy.
have to
Oof.
take an active part in this
She's a Georgia peach.
entry. All right.
Okay, sure.
Sergeant, can you swear him in, please?
Yes. Quamarvius Nichols, Quamarvious, last name Nichols, Nichols.
Did you get that? Is that? Okay. Do you want to do it again? All right, slow down. Your name, spell it for this young lady right here.
Okay, my name is Quamarvius Nichols, first name Quamarvious, my last name Nichols, Nichols.
And Mr. Nichols, are you the same person referred to as Quamarvius Nichols on indictment 22 SC 183572?
Yes.
And are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine?
No.
Have you had the opportunity to sign this indictment with your attorney, Mr. Bruce Harvey?
Yes.
Peoples, he's a sellout. He is a major
And
sellout.
how far did you go?
That's a crying shame.
I got my GED.
Major sellout.
I did not hear you.
I got my GED.
Are you able to read, write, and understand?
I'm gonna
the
put
English
myself
language?
down here.
Do you
He's a
understand
sellout,
that in
peoples.
this indictment, you were initially charged with count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, which carries a sentence of 5 to 20 years. You were also charged with count 49 in this indictment, which is murder, which carries a sentence of life. You were charged with 2 counts of participation in criminal street gang activity, which was counts 50 and 51, which each carried a sentence of 5 to 20 years. You were initially charged with counts 53 and 65, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon under Code Section 16-11-133, which each carry a sentence of 15 years consecutive to count 1. And then you were also charged with count 54, which is possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, which carried a sentence of 5 years consecutive to count 1. Do you understand that that's what you were initially charged with?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges? And if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a jury trial.
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to go over and review the waiver of rights form with your attorney?
Yes.
And I'm going to hand this to your attorney. Did you sign this along with your attorney?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with your attorney, Mr. Bruce Harvey, about all the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charge in this indictment?
Yes.
Do you need any more time to discuss this matter with your attorney?
No.
Are you satisfied with his counsel and representation?
Yes.
And I'd include in there the counsel and representation by Ms. Westmoreland and Mr. Garland as well. You had a team of attorneys.
That's correct.
All
yes.
right.
And they are all attorneys of record and have participated in this particular proceeding and negotiations leading up to this proceeding.
Thank you.
Do you waive formal reading of the indictment?
Yes.
Do you waive any and all defects with respect to the indictment?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, have you been arrested on all the charges in this indictment?
Yes.
And Mr. Harvey, the state is unaware of any outstanding warrants related to these charges. Do you know of any outstanding warrants that are related to these charges?
Not related to those charges.
Have you been advised of the minimum and maximum sentence for each charge you are pleading to?
Yes.
Do you understand this is a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will recommend to the court as to count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, a sentence of 20 years to serve 7 years in custody, balance on probation?
Yes.
Do you understand as a part of the negotiation?
20 years probation, really?
Null
20
process
years
dismissed
probation?
Count 49.
This boy is a sellout.
Count 50, 51, which are the gang activity counts.
Look at everybody. Everybody is looking at him like, man, you just messed up. You ain't never coming back. You are a major, major sellout.
Yes.
Look at Young Doug. Young Doug says, yeah, what's up, y'all? What's up?
Yes.
And the court can sentence
Sell
you
out.
maximum on each charge and can run those charges consecutively or one after the other.
Yes.
Well, there's only one charge that
So
a guilty plea is
I
being
listen-
entered into, so
Under my breath to that.
there's no other sentence to run anything consecutively with
Right.
regard to this plea. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you understand this plea may be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction as well as in other jurisdictions, including the federal courts?
Yes.
Do you understand if you are currently on probation or parole, your probation or parole may be revoked based on your entering a guilty plea today?
Yes.
Do you understand if you're placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit or any special conditions of probation without being subject to revocation for the balance of your sentence?
Yes.
Do you understand you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen, a guilty plea conviction will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation?
See, he shouldn't have never got into anything because he's weak. Now, you know, my thing is simply this. Doesn't matter, people. You know, if you're a part of whatever they got going on, you're part of whatever they got going on. Stand up and take your licks and stuff. But why are you selling out now?
Yes.
You lasted this long. So what, you tired of being in jail? Well, stop doing whatever you did to put yourself into that situation. You're a sellout. So hopefully this will make you get your life together and stop doing the various things that you did that got you in this situation in the first place. People, let this be a lesson to all of you suckers out there who gangsters and things like that, thinking you all that bad and stuff like that. This is what's going to happen to you. Y'all sit up here with your gold teeth and gold chains and all like that and stuff. But then when the long hand of the law come and put those cuffs on you and things, now you want to whimper out. Stand up and take your licks like a man. If you didn't do what you did, you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in. Bottom line.
You understand that
Now,
Encino
you're going to be on
Wilson will
probation
grant
for the
private
next 20,
rights.
30 years of your
Right, I'll
life.
ask you to say yes or no.
And if you violate
The right to
just
apply
if you run a red light,
the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself.
you messed up and
The
you're
right to
going
apply
and you're going to do your time.
The right to assist with counsel hired by you.
So this is just a temporary thing. Well, maybe this is probably good, people, because probably this would be the very thing that will make that sucker get his life together and stay out of trouble. Probably he'll start going to church now. What you think?
Yes.
The right to have the charges against you proved beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes.
The right to appeal if convicted of these charges after a trial.
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea?
No.
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you're in fact guilty?
Yes.
With respect to indictment 22 SC.
Man, I am so sorry that this boy took this plea because now I can't even look at that beautiful attorney that he got right there. She is a true Georgia peach, boy. I mean, my. And I know all of the other attorneys and the Young Thug and all of them. I mean, she's the only finest one in that courtroom. So now she ain't gonna be there no more for them to look upon.
Yes.
That
Oh
can
well.
challenge anything about the constitutionality of the plea. It's not limited to voluntariness. Understand?
Yes.
I mean, come on, people. They got to have something to look at, you know. They got to have something to look at.
Now, just a
And
second.
so by her
Also
being in the
have,
courtroom, that gives
so
them
4 years
something to
for
look
that.
at.
To file a direct appeal, you have 30 days from the date of sentencing, which is going to be today. And you have until the end of this term of court to file a motion seeking to withdraw your guilty plea. That doesn't mean anything like that would be granted. You would have to establish facts that would warrant that. But that's just the time period is until the end of this term of court. Do you understand those as well?
Yes.
All right.
Your Honor, if this case were to continue with trial, Your Honor, the state would expect, as to this defendant, the state would expect to show that what has already come into evidence that on July 3rd, 2017, as well as October 23rd, 2018, that this defendant is an associate of the enterprise of YSL, also known as Young Slime Life, and that he conspired to associate together with others for the common purpose of illegally obtaining money.
To be honest with you, people, I didn't know that there was so many tall women in Georgia. I thought they were just all kind of like medium to short. But these two ladies, loving this attorney, boy, my God, they're like Amazons.
That assisted with preserving, protecting, and enhancing the reputation, power, and territory of the enterprise through acts of racketeering activity to include murder, assault, and threats of violence. That this defendant preserved, protect, and enhance the reputation, power, and territory of the enterprise by the posting of messages, images, appearance in videos, and songs demonstrating allegiance to the enterprise and a willingness to engage in violence on its behalf, and to obtain money, weapons, and other property through acts of racketeering activity, including the unlawful sale and distribution of drugs. Your Honor, evidence has come in during this trial that on July 3rd, 2017, Mr. Nichols was located at 2612 Steele Avenue, which is in the Cleveland Avenue sector of the city. Your Honor, he was found inside of a vehicle. When that vehicle was searched, Your Honor, this was in October 2018, they found marijuana as well as sandwich baggies that would be used to package drugs. And there are also guns found inside of that vehicle. Also in July of 2017, this defendant was stopped during a traffic stop in the Cascade area, Your Honor. After being stopped, Your Honor, there was a consensual search of the vehicle that yielded powder MDMA, Xanax, as well as a loaded gun inside of that vehicle. Additionally, Your Honor, in July 2019, Mr. Nichols was featured in a video with another YSL member, Shannon Stillwell, and Wooney Lee. In that video, it was entitled Slap Talk. And in that video, co-conspirator Shannon Stillwell, while performing, makes such quotes as, "Me and my slimes are above the law," We know from the evidence that salons is one of the terminology used by members of YSL to refer to themselves or other members of this enterprise. And then last but certainly not least, Your Honor, that in March of 2022, Your Honor, Mr. Nichols was found in surveillance video at a gas station and Windsor Street and Fulton Street here in Atlanta, Georgia. This is on March 14, 2022, during what the state would believe to show an onset of a gang war that really started in 2015 with the death of Donovan Thomas that carried on into 2022. In February of 2022, a rival gang member by the name of Rayshawn Bennett, also known as YFN Lucci, was stabbed at the Fulton County Jail in February of 2022. Information about that stabbing was made public at the early part of March 2022, around March 3rd of 2022. Once that information was released to the public, there was an onset of retaliatory activity that occurred between March 3rd, 2022 and March 16th of 2022. That includes a March 11th homicide of YSL associates Christian McMiller and Darius Ford. It also did include a retaliatory shooting of a YFN associate, and then ultimately it led to a murder of Shamel Drinks, who we believe is a YFN associate. This murder occurred again on March 14, 2022. Mr. Nichols is seen on surveillance video at that BP gas station, as I just referenced earlier. He was at the gas station with YSL co-conspirator Shannon Stillwell. Mr. Stillwell was driving an Audi vehicle. Mr. Nichols came to that gas station in a Ford Fusion vehicle. You see both of them on camera together. While they are at that gas station, Shamel Drinks approaches that gas station as well. I think unbeknownst to Mr. Drinks, Mr. Stillwell was still in his vehicle, which is the Audi. At some point in time, Mr. Nichols got to his vehicle, the Ford Fusion. Once Mr. Drinks finished his business or finished handling business at that gas station, we know that there is a phone call between occupants of the car that Mr. Stillwell was in and occupants of the car that Mr. Nichols was in. That communication was to the effect of, you need to get on FaceTime. As soon as that conversation ensues, we see Mr. Drinks leave the gas station in his vehicle, and both the car that Mr. Stillwell is driving.
Hello, Trish Hollywood. How are you, ma'am? It is a blessing to see you on today. Trish Hollywood says, hey, Edward and Gigi. See, I told y'all, this is Trish Hollywood. She has that beautiful avatar. That's how Trish Hollywood looks, y'all. Beautiful, just beautiful, beautiful.
And Mr. Nichols' vehicle pulls up to the far right lane. This is all captured on surveillance video and surveillance camera. They are at the light for a moment. Then we see both this car with Mr. Stillwell as well as the car with Mr. Nichols drive through a red light, leaving the car with Mr. Drinks sitting at that light. About 30 minutes later, a Good Samaritan sees that car still sitting there, approaches the vehicle, and Mr. Drinks is now deceased inside of that vehicle. We had know through LPR readers that both Mr. Stillwell's vehicle and the car involving Mr. Nichols drive in the direction of 20 westbound and follow in tandem. 2 days later, when after the case is investigated and arrest warrants are taken out, on March 17th, 3 days later, Mr. Nichols is found with Mr. Stillwell at a Chick-fil-A gas station, Chick-fil-A restaurant. There is a chase, I won't call it a high-speed chase, but there is a chase through the city of East Point, and eventually Mr. Nichols as well as Mr. Stillwell are both apprehended after arrest warrants were ultimately taken out for the murder of Mr. Drinks, Your Honor. Given where we are in the case, Your Honor, we know that Mr. Nichols, we do not believe Mr. Nichols was in the vehicle in which the shooting occurred, but he was in this other vehicle. The state has made a decision to move forward with this recommendation. for the RICO count, Your Honor, for count one.
Mr. Harvey, are y'all acknowledging a factual basis to the count one, the RICO count?
Okay, we are acknowledging a factual basis. There has already been evidence with regard to the July 3rd, 2017 drug event, the October 23rd, 2018 drug event. We categorically deny and contest any use of violence by Mr. Nichols. We don't agree to that underlying factual basis. We believe those two predicate acts that were committed by Mr. Nichols without any question are sufficient to meet the elements of the offense. The offense to which he's pleaded to, which is a RICO conspiracy. A RICO conspiracy requires proof that the defendant either conspire with another person to violate one of the substantive provisions of RICO, and that would be drug offenses, or personally endeavor, I believe that's what the language of the statute says, to violate one of the substantive provisions.
Well, that's what the language of the statute says, but
Yes.
he is indicted in this indictment with conspiring, not with endeavoring.
That's correct. So we're talking about a conspiracy. We acknowledge the two events that he participated in. We categorically deny any other allegations other than those two events that are sufficient for a factual basis. We categorically deny that we participated in any way in the unfortunate death of Mr. Drinks. We categorically deny any other charges to which we are substantive charges to which we are not entering a plea, and that includes gang charges. This is a plea solely to a conspiracy to violate the RICO Act. So that, but yes, we acknowledge a factual basis to that extent, Your Honor.
Understood. All right, thank you.
Your Honor, we just have one additional thing to say.
Go ahead.
The factual basis regarding the nature of YSL is that the evidence has shown and will continue to show that Mr. Nichols conspired with others to participate in Young Slime Life through a pattern of racketeering activity, and multiple defendants and unindicted co-conspirators have committed overt acts to further this conspiracy, including drug sales, aggravated assault, and murder, also including social media posts asserting the violent nature of and asserted dominance of Young Slime Life, also known as YSL. And that concludes our factual basis.
And again, once again, we again categorically deny those representations. And again, the only thing that is necessary to meet the factual evidence of a 1614-4C is proof that the defendant conspire with another person to violate one of the substantive provisions of RICO, and that is subsumed by the drug offenses that have already been proven in this case, and to which Mr. Nichols has previously pled.
All right, thank you. Understood.
And Your Honor, may I approach with the waiver of rights form?
Yes. All right, Mr. Harvey, have you reviewed with Mr. Nichols this plea of guilty and waiver of rights form, which the two of you have both signed?
I have, Judge, in
All
each
right.
individual provision in that plea colloquy has been acknowledged and gone over personally with Mr. Nichols.
All right. And Mr. Nichols, have you had sufficient time to consider this guilty plea that has been negotiated between the state and your attorneys, and to discuss anything you wanted to about that with your attorneys?
Yes.
All right. And you understand, I hope, I'm going to ask you, that it is your decision ultimately, obviously with the advice of your attorneys, but it's ultimately up to you individually to decide whether you want to enter this guilty plea or not. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. And you do want to enter this guilty plea?
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Harvey, have you advised Mr. Nichols of the alternatives if he does not ultimately go through with this guilty plea and the potential benefits and drawbacks of all of the other options?
Yes,
All right.
very thoroughly, Judge.
All right. All right, Mr. Harvey, is there anything that the defense wants to add to the record?
You're a sellout.
Other than
It's
the
major
statement with
sellout.
regard to the underlying factual basis.
You are a
I'll point out for
sellout.
the court that when Mr. Nichols filled out his form, it says 29 plus. He is a birthday boy in a couple of days and he will be 30. And at 30 years of age, he has a wife. He has got a 13-year-old daughter. He's got a 10-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. His wife and sister, I believe, are here in the courtroom to support him. He, Mr. Nichols, was born and raised in Atlanta. And, you know, we're at this point before I have even given my opening statement in this case.
Yes, sir.
I do want the court to know that Mr. Nichols' mother died in prison. His father was shot by the Atlanta police when he was 4 years old. And he was raised by friends and family in the Atlanta area. So he has come to this point in his life from a very humble beginning. And he has sought the support of friends in this courtroom and others in this courtroom. He is an intelligent young man who I believe has a future. Every day we do a word of the day. We put a new word into a sentence. And I think this is in his best interest. I know that there is, and I know this plea is negotiated, but it's a long downside from 7 to 20. So the courts will have jurisdiction over him for a period of time. So I asked the court, given who this young man is, and given our categorical denial of some of the factual basis, to accept the plea and sentence Mr. Nichols accordingly.
Mr. Nichols, is there anything that you want to say?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right, I find there to be a factual basis for the guilty plea to the RICO count one of the indictment, that being a conspiracy to acquire control or interest in money and personal property through a pattern of racketeering activity. And that is the only count that guilty plea is being entered for. The remaining counts of this indictment as against Mr. Nichols are being null pros by the state as a part of this indictment. I find, having heard the evidence up to the point of trial right now, that there is evidence of at least one overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. And that there is evidence that would fall within the required statute of limitations to establish this RICO conspiracy count. One of the things that we as judges are instructed by our Uniform Superior Court rules to do when we are considering whether to accept a guilty plea and whether to accept a negotiated sentence, and this is a negotiated sentence in this case, is to take into account whether giving leniency in sentencing is going to aid in ensuring promptness and certainty, or at least more promptness and more certainty with regard to corrective measures, whether the defendant, and in this case, the defendant has acknowledged guilt and is accepting responsibility for his guilt of the RICO count, and whether accepting the plea will aid in avoiding further delays, not just with regard to this case, but with regard to the entirety of our system here in Fulton County. And this plea does go towards doing all of those things. I am going to accept the plea as negotiated and sentence in accord with the negotiated recommendation. As I said before, find there to be a factual basis for count one of the plea. I find the plea to have been freely, knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entered into by Mr. Nichols with an understanding of the consequences of doing that. And the sentence on count one is the sentence that has been negotiated of 20 years to serve 7, with the balance of those years to be served on probation. And that, I don't know if there are any special conditions attached to this that y'all have talked about at all.
There are no negotiated special
Okay.
conditions in those, so there are none as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Okay. So with regard to the time that you are on probation, you need to stay out of all kinds of criminal trouble. Make this a birthday present to yourself and to your children and to your wife and family, that you will leave from here today and leave whatever you used to do behind you, and take the next few years. You know, you're going to have some years that are still to be served on this. You'll have credit for the time you've already served, but you're still going to be facing some incarceration time. But after that, you are going to be out, and you, I believe, Mr. Harvey is correct, can be a productive member of society. And this is an opportunity for you to do that, and for you to put your past behind you, the bad parts of it, and continue and make your children proud of you, and set a good example for them, an example that I guess unfortunately you were not lucky enough to have throughout the entirety of your childhood with your parents. I'm sorry about that, but you can be the kind of parent that you ought to be to your children. So I am going to impose that sentence, and I am going to wish you luck and good fortune as you go forth from here. So I think that unless there's anything else from either party, that will conclude these proceedings, and y'all can go ahead and take him into custody. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And Ms. Taylor will make this an exhibit to the plea. Thank you. All right, we are adjourned for the day. Oh, Nate, I think I handed you the wrong.
Well, people, there you have it. He took the plea deal. He took the easy way out. And he's celebrating his birthday. He's still got a little bit of time to do and stuff. But as it stands now, people, you know, he's going to be a free man in just a little bit, but he's still got a little bit of time to do. But he doesn't have that murder rap over his head any longer and stuff. So we just have to see what happens to young Doug and all of them. There's no mistrial that has been created in this particular case and things, you know, and it doesn't say that he has to plead guilty up against young Doug or anything like that. So, you know, I mean, my take up on it is this, peoples. I understand that everybody has different things that they go through in life and whatnot. I mean, you know, people tend to do things in people tend to make mistakes and this and that and the other. But at the end of the day, I mean, we all are responsible for the various things that we do and whatnot. And he's a young man. He's a young man. And so it's just like the judge had said. I hope and pray that he takes this seriously and he goes ahead and he makes something out of his life and stay away from trouble, stay away from all of these things that is going to get you into situations like this and stuff. Stop being whatever you're being in things and stop doing the things that you do to get you in that situation in the first place. And to all of these young thugs out there and these slime lives and slime we trust and stuff like that. Let's go and let's browse the internet, because I know that there was another thing that I was watching people's and I want to take a look at that and stuff. So we're going to revert this back a little bit. We're going to go to let's go to my home page. And let's take a look at when I want to look at that. Let me go ahead and go to my channel, go into my home page. And let's see what's happening here and stuff, because this person had got arrested the other day and things, and serves his ass right too for the things that he did. He thought that he was going to get away with things. So these people, boy, I tell you, these people here. Let me share my screen so you guys can kind of see what's going on here. These people, I tell you, they just act like they are God given to America, and that they can go ahead and order the analyzation of people and things, and thinking that they're just going to get away with stuff. But justice tends to come about and be served up against their tails and stuff. So you guys want to live that life. I mean, I'm not against you living that life, because you want to be thuggish and things like that. Well, then that's your life. You can be thuggish. You can be whatever you want to be in things. But that life comes with consequences, peoples. Did you hear what I said? I said that life comes with consequences. And so when you want to try to live that life, well, then it's okay. Live that life. But just know that that life that you live, it has consequences. And that, at some point in time, when you want to go and put out to unalive someone else's life and things, well, then, your life is going to be impacted when they catch your tail. And then they put your tail in jail for life, or however they're going to do it and stuff. And so, it's sad, peoples. Sad about Pete Diddy and all of these other people and things. I mean, it's just really sad. It's really sad to see a lot of this stuff goes on and whatnot. So that's what it is, peoples. Let's scan the airwaves and stuff, because let's see what's happening today. Let's see what's going on. So let's see what's recently uploaded and things. Yeah. Okay. Everybody's live. Fonnie lied. A lot of these people are live and things and stuff. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about, the Young Dirk murder thing. Murder for hire and stuff. So that's a crying shame. That boy, now he sat his tail back forever and a day, and he just thought that he was all bad and things, but now his tail is in jail for facilitating the murder of these people. And I sat back and watched him, and then this guy right here had squeaked on him. So, friends, how many of us have them? You know? Oh my goodness, peoples. Friends, how many of us have them? I'll be wondering how in the hell do these people be getting all of these phone calls and stuff like that? It's got to be police officers or whatever who has been working with these people to get these phone calls, these records and everything like that and stuff. So I just tend to wonder how in the hell did these people be doing this stuff? I should be offline right now, people, because I got this new software that I'm going to be utilizing and things and stuff. And so I'm just behind the scenes, just trying to put some of the stuff together and whatnot. Just trying to see what's going on here. So let's see here, peoples. Okay. A lot of this stuff. I would love to be talking about the Little Dirk case, but like I say, I don't know enough about all of this rapping and crapping and mapping and all of that madness and stuff that they be doing and things. So let's see what's going on. Anything else, peoples? Anything else that we can look at? Maybe I may get off of here. I've already covered this little Young Thug case for right now. Ain't nothing else happening. I was kind of looking at the Tyree Nichols case. I haven't heard word about that. A lot of stuff is going on and things. So no updates on the Tyree Nichols case. That's what I really want to talk about, but nothing's happening there. So I may just come back on later on today, peoples, and talk about, do a little updates and things. But right now, what I am doing is I'm doing a little update on my software and stuff. I got this new thing that I can do a lot more good creations for my my thumbnails and stuff. Thanks to a beautiful person who had been a blessing and things, I was able to go ahead and facilitate the software and stuff. So I'm trying it out right now. So right now, what I am doing, because I got some more updates for my editing software, so I'm getting ready to upload that right now so I can bring a lot more creative presentations and things. It's just so much, people. So I just got so much that I have to do, but it's all going to get done. I'm still kind of just trying to get down and get my bearings and things like that. But it's so much, that I have to do behind the scenes so I'm upgrading my editing software, getting ready to do a lot more intros and things like that. So you guys are seeing all of this stuff, but see, what I've been told is that the people really don't want to see me do all of these creations and stuff. So I'm just doing it behind the scenes and whatnot, and I'll be bringing it to you. But today I just thought that I will go ahead and do something a little different. See, this is what I really don't want to do is they have all these different titles and things of, oh yeah, you know, it's everything. Diddy gave these people HIV, and Diddy and Jay-Z has been arrested, and you know, so on and so forth, and all of this stuff. But all of this stuff is just clickbait. See, I monitor the news, and if the news ain't got no updates, then it ain't no sense in me sitting here and listening to all of these people lie about all of this stuff that's supposed to be happening and not really, and things. And so I don't think there's anything that I see that I really want to talk about, peoples, for right now anyway. I'm going to be scanning the airwaves and whatnot to see what's new that's out there. The things that I do want to talk about, there has been no updates as of yet, so that's what it is. And there's no updates to anything right here. Okay. Okay, peoples. So there's nothing worthy to really talk about. I mean, you know, it's just all of this stuff is. So, yeah, that's it, peoples. I'll be back. I'll be back later on today to talk about some things, look at some things and stuff. So we'll do it like that. I don't see anything worth really trying to get into and stuff. So I'm going to end the live right here, peoples. And like I say, I'll be back. Nothing new, nothing different, just everything. So if you guys got some new ideas on some new cases that we can talk about, you know, y'all go ahead and get with me and things and stuff, and you know, we'll talk about some new things. But right now, there's nothing. I don't want to really talk about Diddy and then Young Thug. The trial is over with until tomorrow, so you know, we'll see what goes on and things. And yeah. All right, people. So I hope I had said something to encourage your hearts upon today. Tune in again next time to an Edward Joseph Let's Talk Live, Edward Joseph Kitchen, Edward Joseph Gospel Hour, Edward Joseph's Blessings Giveaway 2024 will come to you with something wonderful. I love you with the love of Christ, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Peoples, mask up and be safe. And again, peoples, I will be back and we will go in on some cases, you know. We're going in on some cases, but till then, peoples, you know, I'll be behind the scenes, just updating my YouTube channel, and then utilizing the new content that my editing software has pretty much helped me with and stuff. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do, peoples. So until then, peoples, you guys be blessed, get you some rest, and if the Lord says the same, I'll see you later on today. God bless you all. Thank you for watching.